Who wants to recap last week for inspiration?
I'll do it since I'll likely need it.
Mm-hmm.
um, so we started off with Krellick having a super fun dream, and then moved into him releasing the little elemental that lights our lighthouse, which was like the one thing we were told not to do.
Mm-hmm.
Half the session was dedicated to
You say it
chasing
like I was
down.
the only one.
Fair. And then, huh?
I was. It was. So
I was
yeah.
the only one. Yes.
After that, we decided on getting some things ready for our little trip to the Feywild, including a beautiful necklace to match some earrings.
Incorrect. Earrings to match a crown, but you're very
Oh.
close.
Yeah.
Same spirit.
I'm honestly proud. And then a bunch of other little things. And then while high on shrooms, Vicaris learned how to magic again. And then our little buddy came and got us, and we left off in the Fey.
Bishop, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So for those who have not been here before, you are in an antechamber that is filled with teleportation circles, and many people who seem to be coming in and out of this room, who are all attended by folks who are dressed similarly to Bishop. And he can take you immediately to be greeted, but he asks first if there is anything that you would require of him prior to presenting yourselves to the princess for your mark of attendance.
How did we get here again?
A teleportation circle.
Teleportation circle. Okay.
Yeah.
In Sylvan, I'll say, should we give the gifts to you instead of... Is this customary?
You'll have time to present them yourselves momentarily. I just would like to give you space to prepare if there is anything you need.
How much time do we... That was not his voice. How much time do we have?
I could show you to your chambers first if you would prefer.
Well, I think I'd like that, yeah.
Yeah, maybe some drinks will be good.
We don't want to keep the Lady Chandria waiting too long, but I suppose if people would like a moment to refresh and collect themselves before we go, that should be fine.
Very well. He begins walking you then through the blue stone corridors of the palace, and you see again, as kind reminders of the history of this place, walls that are tapestried again with the telling of the story of the building of this city and its mission and the great battles waged against the Fomorians of the Feydark. And many illustrations of the princess herself in hand-to-hand combat with such creatures, with her great sword, a divided blade that is made half of metal and then half of elemental force. And you are brought to a wing of the castle that is very highly attended by many guests, again all adorned in the twilit painted robes of the kingdom, and taken to a very large chamber, a room that is set with a beautiful and ornate door that opens into a commons room with three separated rooms beyond within. And Bishop opens the door for you, shows you inside. It is furnished, but not opulently, but immaculately clean. and says, anything that you might require that I might be able to provide, simply ask for me and I should take it to you.
Understood.
Anyone need anything here?
Vicaris,
Yeah,
might I have a word briefly?
of course.
Well, I'm also very happy that you've got your magic back, and now that you do, I'd like to give you something in exchange for the little shield gear that I had given you previously. I think this will be more useful for you.
He looks down on his thing, and then looks back up.
Yop
All
is
right.
holding out a metal necklace that it keeps its shape. It's not like a chain or anything, but it's clearly supposed to be worn around the neck.
As he exchanges, he'll put the necklace on his neck. All
Oh
right.
yes, I think you'll find that very helpful. If you're concentrating on something and feel yourself wavering a little bit, this has 4 charges and it will allow you to maintain your ability to focus on what you're thinking about.
Oh wow, yeah, that's gonna be great.
Yeah, and as Yop's walking away, the shock doesn't hurt too bad either. Thank you.
Sorry, what now? Is Bishop still around?
That's
Yes,
the mind sharpener, by the way.
yes, he is standing right at the door with his board and notepaper, waiting patiently.
Karis will look around to see if anybody needs anything from Bishop.
I do not believe so. Has everybody reviewed your paperwork?
Definitely.
Paperwork.
Absolutely. Yep. I read it twice this morning.
Wait, what
I
paperwork?
think you are
Preparation.
referring to the suggested rules of behavior while we are here.
Indeed.
Glanced it over.
It should be reiterated then that if you do not adhere to these and you find yourself in trouble, this is not the responsibility of Acquisitions Incorporated.
Oh, hey, speaking of trouble, Vicaris, looks like everyone's in a giving mood today. I brought these with me because I forgot to give it to you earlier, but, yous and all been doing a lot of training, and you's done good. You's done good. Oh, really, I just thought maybe you could make use of this.
And I will present to you. It's a little package, like brown paper, and it's like there's a little bit of string tying it together. It has a big V scrawled lazily on it.
All right. And he'll slowly. Should I open it now?
Well, I mean, if you want to.
Oh, you might as well. He will slowly undo the. I can't word today. Thing tying it together. He'll untie it. There we go.
Hell yeah.
And slowly tear
Inside,
into it.
inside you find the leather armor that I had been wearing as like a pauldron, but it is once more in its normal leather armor shape.
Oh. Well, yeah. I'm gonna need some time to put this on. I wasn't even prepared. Oh. Well, I guess it can wait, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, if they try to do anything while we're here, I mean, they's in big trouble.
Yeah, I'll agree.
Yeah, try not to get yourself killed yet.
I will do my best, as I always do.
Well, Krellick, it's funny that you mentioned that everyone's in such a giving mood. I had originally made this for you.
And she'll hold up the gear, and it's
I've designed it to affix to the inside of your shield.
What's it do?
Well, once a day, it will allow you to cast the shield spell. I've heard in combat how fond you are when I cast it.
Get out of here. Are you serious?
I'm very serious. I'm not parallel at all.
Wait, I was serious and parallel opposite.
I'll grab Yop and like lift her up a few feet in a big hug.
Oh!
Come here, would you make this? You sneaky Yop. You're so sneaky.
Well, the girl must have her secrets.
Oh, how's I do it? What do I need glue?
No, if you let me see the shield, I can just apply a little. I got some tension screws here and some tension springs there and a little tightening and, oh, look, there we go. Now remember, it's only once a day.
Shield!
Okay.
Does it? I don't know if it works right away.
There's a big old mechanical spring as bolts of metal plate shoot out on either side, and the thing expands briefly and then collapses.
And actually, I just forgot the mechanics of it. It's actually not once a day. It's once a short rest.
Ooh,
Nice.
Sick.
Well, at least we know it works.
Right. And also important to note, although perhaps not.
Of course it works.
Right. They expend my spell slots.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have a lot of them. Oh no.
Yeah, not many.
Correct.
This is a very fond gift, Yop.
Yes, well, I thought, you tend to take a lot of beatings being in the front and all, and I'm up there a fair amount of the time, so I see how much that occurs, and so I thought it would come in very handy, particularly against Tamir.
Yeah, I like the way you was thinking. Does anybody else have any gifts for me?
Wait, were we supposed to prepare gifts? No one told me we were supposed to prepare gifts.
I mean, I have a gift, but I forgot to pick it up for you, Krellick, so once we get back to town, you'll get it then.
Alright.
I look at Zasho. Were we supposed to prepare gifts?
No. Some of us brought gifts for the princess and items in case of trade here, but nothing. There is no prescription of gifts, no expectation of exchange among this group ourselves.
Hey, is we supposed to leave like everything here, or do we take stuff with us?
I brought no weapons and none of my armor, so I plan to carry everything with me. So, this is a party, ostensibly, so make sure you are prepared for that.
I've been to some pretty wild parties, that's all.
I believe that.
I'll set like my pack down, and I think I have like I'll leave the weaponry I normally carry there, but like keep like the harness gear and the bandolier. I'll take the hand axes out of there and all that, but I'll carry my shield and the Coral Warhammer. but otherwise, no additional weapons.
Okay.
Like that scene in Police Academy where guns just keep going in.
It's just hand axes.
Yop straps her shield to Betty's back and places her warhammer down Betty's gullet.
In a few moments, this ritual will complete, and you will all feel a little strange to begin with as this spell settles over you. It will allow us to communicate telepathically for about an hour. I will do my best to keep track of time and warn you when the effect is ending. Warn all of you. I thought this might enable us to discuss things or call for assistance from each other without offending our hosts. Please do keep in mind that you will be broadcasting to everyone else in the bond, so try to maintain a little bit of mental discipline.
Am I not supposed to wear armor to this?
You can,
I
as long
suppose
as it's not Silver Iron.
As long as it's not what?
Silver Iron.
Looks at her chainmail. What kind of metal is this?
Almost certainly steel.
You're fine, Mon.
Bishop from the door just says, alloys are acceptable.
Yeah.
I'll leave my backpack like Krellick, but I'll still wear full gear.
The only bit of regular adventuring gear that I've got on is the gloves, the Arcanist gloves. I mean, I have the courier's cuff and my tomes, but beyond that, I'm not wearing armor and I'm not carrying my daggers.
I have my cloak of protection on. Because it's pretty.
Belt of pants!
Best pants.
I hope Krellick bought his finest wizard hat.
Of course, always. I have that on me. I keep the abacus, like that has its own separate little storage, thing. But
yeah, Lauren is wearing that fine clothes she bought, but she still has her armor over it, so it's kind of obscuring most of the fine clothes. The pants you see fine, but the top is like completely obscured by chainmail.
He's still.
No, it sounds like a very good idea, Zashel. How long will it be before the spell takes effect?
A few more minutes. If there's anything you need to say in confidence to someone, now is probably the best time to do that. You can still speak normally once the spell takes effect. You do have to will yourself to speak to everybody, but none of us, I think, have done this before, and I imagine it will be easy for stray thoughts to get transmitted to everyone.
Very well. Then a few minutes pass, and the spell is complete.
Hello?
Ow.
I'm just going to populate it real quick so that we can all see. It lasts for an hour.
As soon as the spell is done, Vakaris is gonna kind of go cross-eyed, looking up at his forehead, and lift his finger, and a little thread appears, and he goes, "Huh, all right."
Unless anyone, and he's saying this out loud, unless anyone has anything else, we should probably check with Bishop and see if the Princess Chandria is ready to receive us.
I try to speak mentally to Bishop.
That doesn't work, but what do you say so everyone else hears it?
Are you?
That will not work.
Do you mean me, Krellick?
You'll have to be more specific in here.
Yeah, I think he was talking to me, Zashel.
I don't think so, Yop. He always addresses you by name.
True.
Yo, but I didn't know you was on the line.
Oh yeah, it's like a party line.
Well, I think we're all on the line.
By
That was
definition,
the
this is
description
correct.
of this of what I gave you. Bishop, we are ready to go. That is out loud.
It is interesting that all of your internal voices sound the same as your external voices. What languages do you think in?
Sylvan, obviously. The best
Ah.
one.
Same.
Draconic, the first spoken language.
I mean, I've been speaking common so long.
Right.
Lauren,
Nothing.
what language are you thinking in?
Common? I don't really know many other languages.
Not.
Anytime.
No, what's your language?
Sylvan.
If you're prepared to leave, then, or prepared more appropriately to introduce yourselves, under what title should you be addressed?
Do you mean individual title per person or the group as a whole?
Both.
As a group, we are the Lighthouse Franchise of Acquisitions Incorporated. You can introduce me simply as Zashel. And he gestures to everyone else to introduce.
Yes, I'm Yav, Bishop. We've met already. And this is Betty.
He grins and begins writing on his tablet.
I'm Krellig. Some people call me Krellig the Red.
Is that how you would prefer to be introduced?
Yes.
Very well.
It being the court and all, I would like my full name used, of course, Silent.
Zilshin, yes, this is not the name that has been presented to us. And he continues scribing.
What was the name presented to you?
Simply Vicaris. We have been wondering as to the title for some time.
Right.
I am the 3rd level cleric of Jurgle. No.
Very well.
Hey, can you call me the Great Krellig the Red?
Have you earned the title of the Great?
Yes.
Roll me deception.
Come on, baby. It's a 9.
Might I suggest?
I'm almost
Mighty.
willing to burn inspiration on that.
Might I suggest Krellik? Mighty Krellik the Red.
I look at Bishop, waiting for his approval.
He has raised one eyebrow, and he says, while humor and levity is appreciated, for the sake of those who have earned such titles as great, perhaps we should refer to you as only that which you have earned.
I don't know what that means, but all right.
Simply put, Krellik, it means no.
Lauren, do you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm just Lauren.
He nods and writes that down. Very well. Then follow me. And he opens the door and walks back into the hallway.
Don't forget Lucky. I mean, I assume she's just Lucky, but, I don't know. She might surprise us.
She says she goes by Lachlan Crowell. All right. You all enter the hallway. You begin passing through the way you've come. And as you walk, Bishop tells you that, as a reminder, the city is currently under siege. There are protective barriers and fields that will keep, for the most part, most of the citadel under protection. And as such, any guests are permitted to wander through, if they so wish, for either sightseeing or perhaps any purchases made that you would like to make while within. It should be noted, however, that this is still, in fact, active war zone. There are many soldiers that will be through the streets, and will likely be pushy, at least. The friendly and mercantile expectations of this city are not to be matched in any fashion with its colder side. It is also very important that you all know that while within the castle, the palace itself, you are under the protection of the Lady Chandria, but leaving the palace, there is limits. Faults that you might find, danger you might encounter, and crossing of any barriers you might do, any harm that comes to you, that is yours. Understood?
Got it.
Understood.
Mm-hmm.
He brings you then through the dark stone palace hallways and passages, and leading off of many and branching off of many different rooms, chambers of various types, and with very clearly very different built intentions, until there is before you a massive chamber door that is open. The two doors have been parted, and many of you recognize this as the welcoming, as a greeting chamber, where you've met Chandria before. This entire castle is built quite large, but this room itself is speaking for itself in its own size. The ceilings are grandiose and are draped with beautiful fabrics and beautifully painted tapestries and such. There are some courtiers around, many of which are wearing the same cuff that Zashel and, in fact, Bishop is wearing. And there is the dais in the center of the room that sits upon this almost like black glass granite. And the dais houses this frankly not particularly well decorated or adorned, but very trophy-like throne, which is fixated with all sorts of raw-cut jewels and pieces of metal. And upon it is the giant woman herself, a very tall, like 9 feet tall, FEY woman with very long ears, cut blonde hair, and unlike as you've seen her before, she still maintains much of her war paint she puts upon her face, but she is not armored today. She is not wearing the scrap pieces and the trophies and the very powerful golden armor that she ordinarily wears. Oh, sorry. She is wearing a very long white gown that bears her arms and most of her back as well, and you can see that she is battle torn. There is blood across her knuckles and fingernails. Her arms are cut and stripped and bruised. She herself looks as if it was possible she just walked from battle were it not for the fact that she bears no mark of exhaustion. And when you enter, Bishop addresses and introduces you all as the Lighthouse franchise of Acquisitions Incorporated of the Material Plane, then introduces each of you by the name you have requested. And she rises to meet you, and she says, "I am so glad you all came. Thank you so much for appearing."
Thashel immediately looks surprised at hearing the words "thank you."
It's really our pleasure.
Yop is doing a little curtsy and sort of gives a sidekick to Betty to do a little bow, and to the rest of the group in their heads.
That seemed awfully enthusiastic, don't you think?
Something is not right.
I take a few steps forward, look her over.
What is you wearing?
Marks of station. And she turns her back so that you can see again. Most of her back is exposed and, again, very badly damaged. But there is, between her shoulder blades, a massive brand that is the sigil of Titania, the crescent moon and the four-pointed flower, burned into her back. And then she turns back to you.
Wicked.
I believe your invitation alluded to a potential contract, and I do not know if your response to the invitation was necessarily exclusively for that, but either way, I appreciate your company.
We are pleased to see you again and find that you have endured the season away from the plane with grace and security. We, of course, were happy to answer the invitation so graciously provided to us. There will be plenty of time for business whenever you would prefer.
Perhaps we should discuss now so that you have time to consider the offer.
That would be well, yes.
If that is what you would prefer, we are, of course, willing.
I like that idea.
As the Slayers of the Blight Lord, you are recognized within the court as capable combatants, and, in a fashion, many, heroes of Astrazalion. This is appreciated. Perhaps there could be more to be earned if I were to provide to you some information that you would like, certainly, I understand, both appreciate and possibly necessitate. Likewise, there is a similar task that I would appreciate your help with. I have come to understand you have had an encounter with the hag called Granny Nightshade.
That is correct.
And how would you mark, as either success or failure, this encounter?
I think it was a bit of a mixed bag.
We were able to rescue some of the people who had been taken by Granny Nightshade from the town of Saltmarsh, some rescued even alive. Unfortunately, Granny Nightshade was able to escape, presumably back to her home realm, which means that the Dreadwood is not entirely safe a locale yet. Several of her hag compatriots were defeated or fled or banished back to the FEY, for which you have almost undoubtedly already been informed.
That would be correct. In fact, the old lair that she has once inhabited within the Feywilds has seen some activity recently. So it would be, I believe, mutually beneficial for me to provide not only directions, methodology, and assistance to find her and have her eradicated, but also perhaps there is something else that in exchange you could assist me with. There is a master of the Fomorian Guards a creature that calls himself Fleos the Driver, who has made himself a pain in my ass in the past few weeks. And much of the design of this evening's events I have designed in a very specific manner to best entrap this beast. Put him at some form of disadvantage. And kill him while he is somewhat vulnerable. In exchange for your help with this task, I would provide to you shackles by which to keep the hag from leaving any plane you happen to be fighting her in, as well as a number of my personal guard to assist you in combat.
You got anything to, like, keep her on the ground?
On the ground?
Yeah,
Why
she
would that be a
likes to-
problem?
Well, she's all, like, floaty.
She tilts her head to the side like she's confused.
Well, she's, like, real high up there, you know.
I fail to understand how that is a problem for you.
I don't know how to explain this.
Well, you see, on the one hand, if you just say that you don't have the ability to fly, I think that might do it. But on the other hand, I mean, you can get quite big these days.
And I have flown. I mean, I can fly.
Yes, but I mean, not at your command, not at any given, like, you couldn't fly right this very second, could you?
Watch me.
This is not the time.
You can fly?
I've been known to.
Wait, can she hear us?
I'm not in the mental thing. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
he's just saying it out loud.
He's been known to fly. He can't specifically fly. It's with magical help.
Disappointing.
Your offer is very generous, given the fairly extensive bad blood between Nightshade and us as of late. What more can you tell us about this? Just hit my microphone. What more can you tell us about this Fomorian that you would consider essential for us to know?
Unfortunately, by the design of this particular entrapment, I feel that I would not be able to properly share any of the specifics unless you were to finally agree. I understand that this might be a challenge and difficult, but as it stands, most significantly, I myself feel, alongside with help from others, more than capable of handling this creature on my own. It is any minions or smaller beasts, or even greater beasts, as they are giant kind, that would prove pests under my feet.
Oh, so you get to have all the fun, and we're just left cleaning up all the trash.
If you wish to fight Fleos the Driver yourself, you are welcome to be slaughtered by him.
A question, milady.
Yes?
What would you consider satisfactory on our part? He pauses and switches to Sylvan. What do you believe would be the satisfactory conclusion to this contract? More specifically, what would you require of us?
Satisfactory conclusion to the contract would merely be the slaying of the beast and your survival. And, very specifically, participation in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind
No
if I
further stipulations.
Do you mind if I ask how this Fomorian's been a pain in your ass, as you say, or is that a part of the? Is that part
Would
of
you
the
like
what
me
we
to
can?
show you?
Yes, actually.
She steps forward closer to you and kneels and grabs your arm, and you feel a burning from her touch that begins to melt your skin. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Hooray! It shouldn't be advantage. So, oh yeah, it's automatic. 21.
Okay. That's pretty good.
All right.
And that means you only take 20 points of acid damage.
Tight. Good start.
And as this mark is left upon you, part of the illusion across her own arm begins to fade, and more of those scars become apparent, and those wounds begin to open, and the mark that is upon your arm is visible on hers.
Well, yeah, no, I'd want to do something about that too. He'll kind of cradle his arm.
Are you not capable of removing this affliction?
Oh, I mean, she said she is, I think. With the offer I'm doing this inside.
No.
With the offer she's proposing, we need help with grading.
Noel says internally no to herself.
Cleos the driver is a commander. Fomorians by themselves in armies are disorganized by their nature. They squabble and fight with another. A creature such as himself that is capable of rallying troops is lethal.
We cut off their head, and then the rest of it follows.
That is correct.
Perhaps we should hear the full details of your initial plan before we consider the alternate version in which we go after this Fleos the driver ourselves, whom you have made clear would almost certainly obliterate us. I would prefer to hear the initial plan.
The initial plan as it stands is partially in parley with some of the other guests who will be arriving. The intention is to find enough of them in an agreeable state that they should be able to assist me in the destruction of this giant personally. Again, the assistance I require from you is strictly with the tiny, annoying bastards that get underfoot.
I'll say internally, she's fighting a war. The less she can trouble herself with, the better. That way she can focus on the front line.
I say out loud, looking at everyone.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I mean, I'm beaten.
It should be clear. There is, in fact, as we just, and he's saying this out loud to Chandria, especially after our last trip here and the renegotiation thereof, it should be clear that the only ones who can speak for the franchise as a whole are myself as decisionist, or Noel, Scrivener Noel here, who handles all of the paperwork.
Yes.
So while individuals are free to profess their own opinions as to the direction of the franchise, none of those opinions should be considered, inferred to be, or taken as agreement to any course of action, bargain,
On behalf
or
of the
plan.
group. Yes.
It should also
Thank
be
you.
clear.
Thank you, Kralik the Red, for agreeing.
It should also be clear that while the group is in negotiations, any individual outbursts should be considered statements of discussion and not verbal agreement.
I say in the mental
This is a
space.
decision point, or this is a discussion point for the franchise as a whole, as there will almost certainly be a formal vote called as to the direction we would like to go. Having said all that, it is my current inclination, though obviously not a definitive statement for the franchise or even myself, the current inclination is that if we can be of assistance, we will be happy to oblige. However, that is a inclination that still bears discussion among our franchise. If we may have a moment to discuss.
She gestures back towards the hall.
I'll say in the
Do not
mental
speak.
space. I'll say in the mental space.
Cecil, I said that quietly.
Yeah, I think it means she can hear us in our heads.
That would be very impressive.
Can you hear me?
Regardless, I am in agreement with you, and this is all. I need a telepathic button somewhere.
Yeah. Gotta be very clear. Gotta be very clear.
Sorry, I was saying it telepathically as well.
Telepathically, Zashel is speaking and saying, I agree with Krellick in that if we can assist Chandria, we should. We have dealt with enough of the darker Fey creatures, frankly, for a lifetime. However, as we've seen, the foothold that they want in our world is troubling, to say the least. Something done here might alleviate some of the pressure of our own. Especially if part of the compensation involves assistance in eliminating Granny Nightshade, since that is, I believe, still an open bounty within both Saltmarsh and Fort Burrow. My suggested course of action, and I will of course not put this to a vote until everyone has had a chance to say something before we do, is to take her up on the initial plan. I know that, Krellick, you would almost certainly be more interested in trying to take this Fleos, the driver, on directly. However, if Chandria believes that that would almost certainly result in our deaths, I am inclined to listen to her tactical assessment. The other part of that is we can always accept the initial plan, and if we discover that it is flawed, or perhaps this Fleos the driver is... Oh no, we didn't move, as far as I'm aware.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Staring
All
blankly at her.
Yeah,
I
all just kind of turned. The
I had
funniest part
hoped to
is
assume
Zashel-
that she gestured and we moved. I had hoped.
I mean,
Nope.
we're in a giant throne room. Like, even if we move to the far corner, we're not leaving the throne room. That probably wouldn't.
Yeah, we're
be
just
allowed,
leaving
so-
her attention space. You know what I mean? I assumed that we did that. But,
Okay, all right. That
As
wasn't
in, like,
clear.
huddled in a corner and stared at each other and not saying anything out loud. Is that what
See,
we're hearing?
yeah, that's the thing. I assume wherever we're going in this
Okay.
room, like, what else is she going to pay attention to?
whatever
Okay,
she's
all right.
doing, whatever she's
right.
doing.
I just feel like we didn't excuse ourselves.
No,
that
you-
would be
you
kind of
just-
weird just to
We
walk
did
away
it.
wordlessly.
Oh no,
It's
yeah,
fine.
that's
It's fine.
why
Just
I assumed we just
continue your
didn't move.
conversation. Yeah.
Which is funny because Zashul is almost certainly still like gesticulating, like waving his hands while he talks and talks mentally, and so it just looks, a little weirder. Anyway, we can always try to alter. We can always offer to deal with Fleos after we have accepted the first plan, if that seems like an opportunity. It is almost certainly going to be more difficult to go the other direction and accept a direct assault on Fleos and then try to back down. That would weaken our bargaining position to almost nothing. Thoughts?
I have a personal vendetta against Granny Nightshade, so whoever has to die in order to get to her, I don't particularly care.
Yeah, I'd like to take the hag down. For the rest of it, I mean, you can figure it out. I'm just gonna go see how the lady's doing.
It is no hassle to produce 2 contracts, an initial provisional one, which binds us to secrecy, regardless, and a secondary contract which binds us to the conducting of the task.
Yup. Lauren, unless either of you have any strong objections, I don't believe we need a formal vote for this then.
No, I'm most interested in obtaining assistance in ending Granny Nightshade and collecting on that bounty. However, might I suggest negotiation in terms of payment?
Yes.
Perhaps in addition to what's already been stated, we might get another opportunity at that lovely weapons cache that she has. In addition to being useful and valuable for us going forward, it would certainly be potentially useful in both aspects of fulfilling this particular contract.
Yes. While I agree, I am somewhat loath to try to factor military armament while they are still under siege. Last time we had a contract for the Blight Lord, Chandria provided us items in advance, which were reasonably commensurate, I would assume.
That's an excellent point. Perhaps something worded such that if she's pleased with how the contracts were fulfilled, she could send us some gifts from the weapon cache once they're no longer needed for the war effort.
Yes, that is.
If it would be
a reasonable negotiation.
Preferred language could be included, which would stipulate that in the event of a satisfactory conclusion, we could be eligible for a gift.
Yes.
At her
and
discretion.
on second thought, perhaps we shouldn't phrase it as a gift.
No. This is true.
A bonus.
We will
However,
be very
that is all.
specific.
Yes.
That's neither here nor there. The long story short is that I agree with you, Sashel. We should assist her and gain her assistance in ending Granny Nightshade, so I am in favor of entering a contract.
Lauren? You are the final voice.
I mean, I would like Granny Nightshade to be stopped. We don't want her kidnapping any more children here, there, or whatever else she's up to.
Noel will produce from the Documancy satchel a pre-written contract, at least for the initial thing. In other words, to hear out her plan and to be sworn to secrecy rather, and hand it to Zashel.
Zashel will hold up a hand and basically just say, hold it, as he will turn around.
Yeah, Noel will not.
The rest of the franchise has weighed in, and we are, of course, happy to accept your initial plan to be sworn to secrecy, to hear whatever further details you might be able to provide once we are signatories, with, of course, the understanding of full negotiations more properly once as many details as you have been able to provide have been provided. But in the short term, we are happy to... The Lighthouse franchise of Acquisitions Incorporated is happy to offer its assistance.
Noel will, with a head bowed, approach and hold up a contract written in Sylvan for her to review.
Her nose wrinkles at this presentation, and she picks up this piece of paper and reads over it, immediately looking very annoyed. And then says, I have considered the necessity of compensation in a more material form for the sake of your business transactions, correct?
Zashel nods acquiescently.
I had a few gifts in mind. Blessings, charms, whatever the hell you want to call them. But
How many other people are here besides Chandria and us?
There are a number of courtiers that you can see, but she still stands as the lone person of importance in this chamber.
Okay.
Although I am hesitant to discuss such without formal agreement.
The paper, my documancer, well, the franchise documancer, not my documancer. The paper the documancer is offering you is our agreement, the formal agreement that you require and request. If you would prefer to speak more privately in the eyes the hangers on, essentially, or more candidly,
Those within these walls know the danger they face by betrayal, and she looks pointedly across, over the room, and almost as if called by her attention, each one turns to her and bows.
I
Again.
imagine the spectacle that was made of the last person to cross you has reinforced the notion within them.
Fair assessment. Is this, and she holds up the paper, is this a note of agreement that has been notarized?
Not until it is signed by all present. It is a secrecy agreement we will be sworn to, with regards to the task at hand. Afterwards, we will then discuss a more formal contract for the conducting of the task.
Right. Then, is it required that she sign this, or is just you guys?
That particular copy, it probably isn't. It doesn't really require anything of her.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd probably leave her with that copy and just sign the other, like, the copy in common.
Okay. Then
I'd make sure to get everybody's signature. Or, like, fingerprint or whatever, in the case of Kralik.
I know
Fingerprint.
how to write.
Wow.
True. I kind of just assumed you'd, like, smear some blood on your hand and make a handprint.
Well, you would be
Classist.
correct to assume that.
But yeah, once all signatures are present, like, Noel will, like, half get ready to, like, hand it to her and say, if you wish to review this, you may do so. Otherwise, I will file it with the head office,
you
and
may
it will
file
become
it.
binding. Yeah, I'll put
Her-
it in the pouch that sends it to the head office.
Her hand reaches out, palm up towards the door, and then closes into a fist, and the door is shut. And she explains what the intentions are, where she says that as part of this function, there will be a segment of the palace that is moved completely, what's the word? Indecipherably, into a very specific location within the Feydark, where many creatures have been hunting, and it will appear very much as if there is, from the outside, it is going to be functionally a trap where the creatures that are within within this chamber will be provided as bait. But the people, the folks that are here, everyone who is agreeing to this plan, as she has said she's planning on enlisting others, would be the only folks allowed entrance in the first place. There will be then many soldiers who are sent out trying to pull and lure Fleos to the chamber, and inevitably, as as clever as he is still not particularly intelligent, and they're going to rely on that fact to bait him into essentially thinking that he is walked in on a group of vulnerable archfey. At which point, she plans on bashing his brains in with her bare hands.
Nice.
Along with the help of, again, any archfey who attend and agree similarly that they would be willing to assist.
What's to be our role?
Your role is that you are not necessarily bait, but you are, again, kind of cleanup crew, where there were going to be inevitably, because he is the driver, a number of soldiers with him, and she requests of you that you just keep them out of her way.
Okay. Keep her safe from the rabble. That's
Yes.
our job.
Yes.
Can do. We will save her as we saved all those children.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
So we basically have to just trying to understand this a little better. Are we diverting them somewhere? Like, are we just dealing with them while they are here in this chamber and she's fighting Fleos?
Yeah. Second thing, there will.
Okay.
Yeah. The room itself is the trap that they are going to have a hard time leaving, particularly because she plans on also barring the way. So survive, kill as many things as you can, basically, and keep everything away from her so she can do her job.
Yeah, protect the QB. She's the QB.
in return, let's see. Yes, in return for this, she intends on gifting you all an escort of her soldiers, directions, and a path towards Nightshade's lair within the Veydark, as well as a set of dimensional shackles so that she cannot escape. And the individual blessings that she would gifts, charms specifically that she would be willing to provide to each of you upon the completion of the contract.
A title.
Well, I'm still in.
Yes, you are.
I believe, unless there is... Let me start this over. In the telepathic link, I believe, unless there is anything anyone feels is outstanding, that last reward point of the individual charms, yada yada yada, and I suppose while it's rude to ask for clarification, it might be worth it. That, I believe, is what we were discussing, Yop, of essentially individual rewards afterwards, the bonus, so to speak.
Oh yes, I find that to be most sufficient.
The assistance in capturing and defeating Granny Nightshade will go a long way to making up for some of the more lacking monetary aspects. I suppose the added bonus is that, as that is no longer an active contract, there would not necessarily be a head office cut to any shall we say, supplemental rewards. Is there anything that anyone thinks I'm overlooking? Is there anything I'm overlooking? Let me rephrase that.
I do not think so.
I agree.
Something still does not feel right. This seems... I don't want to use the phrase too easy, because that's not what I mean. I expected more wrangling, more...
Too direct?
It feels...
Lae'zel,
almost desperate. Yes, Krellick.
she's a warrior. She's not trying to fuck around.
Perhaps, but I still remember our last trip here, so it leaves an impression.
Perhaps if she needs us, then, as you said, desperation, she must actually need us. Things are not going well, or not as well as they appear.
She wants
Well,
to test
regardless.
us by luring us into a room with Plios the driver.
Oh, I hope so. That would be amazing.
Well, I mean,
But
that sounds like that is part of the plan. We will be in this room when she is killing him, so...
No, I understand that, but I guess my point was we just have to trust her that she will actually remain in the room to fight Plios and not leave that up to us as well.
I
don't doubt that she will want to stay and deal with him personally. Judging from the... And Zashel looks over at Vicaris's scarred, burned arm. Judging from the reaction it seems that this Fleos has earned more than just her ire.
If we are worried about duplicity, we can always inquire a verbal contract with her.
To be clear, I'm not particularly worried about it.
Yeah.
I want the assistance with Granny Nightshade, and if this is what's required, is to be in this room, well then, I'm on board.
Yeah, we take out a few foamies and then we go get the granny.
I suppose the good news is if we deal with enough of the underlings, there's still a chance we can help with Fleos directly.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, then if no one has anything, Bakaris, Lauren, you haven't really.
Don't have anything to add to the contract or agreements or disagreements beyond what you've already said.
I stand by what I originally said. Whoever has to die in order for us to get Granny Nightshade, I'm okay with. Were you thinking too good to be true earlier?
No. I mean, we are going to be bait to a creature that she has said would annihilate us, so it's. I don't know if too good to be true is accurate, but just.
Perhaps it feels too easy in making the contract, that she didn't have any objections to our requests. Is that what you meant?
Really, we didn't even request anything. She put it on the table.
Yes, and that, I think, is what is. She seemed to already understand the requests we would have, and rather than starting low so we were forced to compromise to the middle, she has simply anticipated and acquiesced to everything that we would request.
She's a smart lady and she is looking at us.
I am aware, Krellick.
Her arms are crossed, and she has kind of a placid and bored expression.
Yop will approach Betty and instruct Betty to start tap dancing.
Can you roll performance for Betty?
Come on, my wee girl. Come on, my wee girl.
Oh no!
That'll do.
Huh.
Went about as well as we thought it would.
Yep.
No, you know what? I got plenty of inspiration. I'm taking inspiration on that. You go, Betty.
I'm sure it's too late.
17.
Okay, never mind.
She lightly nods and leans against the back of the throne. Arms still crossed, but watching.
Once we're all in agreement, Zashel turns around, gestures to Noel, but then speaks to Chandria. Would you prefer a written or simply a verbal agreement to the terms that you have stated to us a few moments ago?
Her eyes sparkle and she says, verbal is easiest.
In this case, I think the statement would simply be, we, the Lighthouse franchise of Acquisitions Incorporated, unanimously have agreed to assist you in the manner spoken before. We shall stay here in this room as it is transported. We shall provide assistance in the dispatching of Fomorian and other dark Fey underlings, I think is the term that was provided to us. And he looks at her in looking for confirmation.
Well put.
And in return, assistance, including but not limited to military assistance, dimensional shackles, a route to Granny Nightshade, and the aforementioned personal additions, boons, I think you said, as stated by yourself.
She nods and lets one hand fall to her side, and as it does, the great sword that you've all seen before, that now appears to be fixed to the back of the chair, wrenches itself loose and falls to her hand. Again, this sword is like 6 feet long, and is cut perfectly in half, so it would appear that there is only the singular side of the blade.
Fuck, that thing is so big.
And she taps the point of it to the ground. There is a dimming of sound and light. And then the room appears to warp and shrink as she alters her shape so she is closer to your size. She extends a hand to you, Zashel.
Zashel will shake her hand.
It is done. And then the room springs back to its natural form as she grows to her height.
Would it be rude to ask why that was necessary? It is abject curiosity on my part, so if it is, there is, of course, no offense intended and no need to answer.
She smiles and then turns her head and hand towards the door and opens her fist, and the door swings open. Waiting on the other side of the door is a gentleman who is painted as if stained glass. Gorgeous to behold, literally the most beautiful creature any of you have ever seen, surrounded by a small escort of Eladrin of Spring, all wearing painted pink and red robes. And he walks with his hands out, stretched with his hands kind of splayed outward, his fingers, and with a light bounce and spring in his step, and he approaches, and he says, "Chandria, dear, it's been ages. I'm so happy to see you." And he lunges forward towards her, and almost in anticipation, she puts out a hand and catches him by the face, and then hurls him into the wall with a shuddering crack of stone. And then he drops to the floor, shakes his head, and stands. "All right, okay, I apologize. That was a little forward." And his escort introduces him as the Prince of Hearts, reporting in acceptance of the invitation for the dinner for the first fall of snow. And she rolls her eyes, and she says directly to all of you, "Just so you all know, you are still free to access the entirety of the palace, and the dining hall and the room which we have discussed will be indicated to you elsewhere. This chamber is not going to be necessarily the place mentioned in contract."
Understood.
The gentleman, as he is dusting himself off, has kind of a wandering gaze. His eyes are incredibly unfocused and very unusual. And he tilts his head around as if listening and says, "What is that?" And a few of his guards approach him, and he slowly begins making his way towards all of you with his, again, his eyes quite unfocused. And he says, "What pretty little creatures. are all of you?
Hello.
Hello.
We are the Lighthouse franchise of acquisitions incorporated from Saltmarsh in the material plane.
Oh. Chandria, dear, you brought little toys. I did not. And you are dismissed. And she looks at all of you as well as him. Very well. And he begins walking towards the door again.
Betty will, or Yop will instruct Betty to stop tap dancing, and they'll head back to their quarters.
Vicaris will say, "A pleasure as always, my lady," and then turn around and walk away.
Before we go, Vicaris,
Oh,
the gift.
right,
Please,
right.
Chandria, allow us to present you with a small token of our appreciation for this invitation to your first snow of winter soiree. The last time when renegotiations were necessary, an item of certain personal import was presented. My compatriot here and I have taken it upon ourselves in a joint effort of solidarity to craft for you an accompanying decoration. That's not the word I'm looking for, but I can't get the word I'm actually looking for. And then does the two hands at Vicaris, like...
Oops, Vicaris. Yeah, he finally pulls them out and shows them off to her. And this is for you.
She takes them, examines them, begins putting them to her ears, and says, "Beautiful. Thank you."
In the mental link, that's twice now. But then he just bows, and Zasha will turn and go.
The last time you were here was about 2 months ago.
2 months ago. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, the whole festival and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember it. I just don't remember, like, I don't know what the timeline is.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. I'm sorry, I misunderstood why you were asking.
Yeah, it's just hard. It's hard to keep track sometimes of how much world time has passed. You know, because like it feels like a long time, but it's like, well, it's been 2 days. I will step forward towards her, and extend a hand in a warrior's grip.
She takes it, and you can feel your skin starting to burn and smoke at her touch.
Sick. I pull her in, look her in the eyes, and say,
I've been looking forward to coming back here.
Can you make me an athletics check?
Yeah. I sure can.
End up on his ass.
Probably.
You just watched her like face slam a dude across the room.
Well, yeah, but I'm not trying to like throw her anywhere. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that'll matter.
You did just say you pull her in. Is my point?
Well, yes.
In an attempt to pull her in, you move her not a centimeter, and you just
pull
get closer and closer. Right.
See, that was actually what I was just about to say. You try to pull her in, and her, with a tug of her wrist, you snap forward a foot.
Excellent. I look down and smile back up at her and say,
I've been training like every day for like 2 months.
And that's enough?
I hope to find out.
She headbutts you.
And Krellick's dead. Roll a new character, please.
With the 26 to hit.
Well, yeah, she hits.
She does not hit you at full force, and you take like 4 points of damage.
Hell yeah.
And then she lets you go with a smile.
I stumble a bit, shake my head, and I meet her gaze and say,
Oh, it's on. Hell yeah. Okay, after we can do all this, then it's you and me.
Armed or no this time?
Let's see how it goes, yeah?
Done.
I bought this for you, actually. I thought you might like it.
and I will present to her the Coral Warhammer.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
What is this?
Alright, so where I come from, there's these nasty little fish people live in the water, just gnawing away at everything, right? And this is a weapon they use to beat people's skulls in.
She brings it to her throne and sets it to the floor near one of the armrests. And with her touch, the metal of it begins to melt, and she welts it with her hands to the chair.
I straighten my ascot, tilt my wizard hat, and give a little bow.
Milady.
And I will leave.
All right. Then we'll take our 10-minute break and be back at 1:45.
All right.
And for anyone keeping track, because I know I'm keeping track, one of those favors just offered as her blatant thank yous has just been claimed by Krellick.
I was gonna ask her for that. If she gave me something, I was just gonna ask for that.
I kind of figured, which is why one of the two thank yous she has offered is that.
Yeah. I was like, that's a shot at the champ. That sounds right. What need have I for money?
All right, I'll be right back.
I was like, remember that next time you ask for Horde money.
Hey, look. I wasn't myself back then. I swear.
I wasn't myself. Has anyone seen Promising Young Woman?
No,
I really want to see it.
I don't know what it is.
It is a story of revenge. And it looks really good. Oh, don't worry about that.
Hi, robot. Hi.
Does Robot need someone to say hi to him?
Yeah, he told me he was gonna leave if we didn't say hello.
Jerk is so needy.
Craig also did this.
I didn't say Craig wasn't.
Yeah, all right.
Craig had a kind and generous spirit.
I don't know why. I don't know why y'all stand Craig. Craig failed me. I give Craig a chance every couple of weeks. Just see if maybe he's back. No.
I don't think I stand Craig because Craig does the now recording, and
It's
I
because
never like
Craig.
that.
It's because Craig gives too much, and so it means he doesn't have enough.
When we started playing the Friday game and we decided we wanted to record that as well. Tyler got Craig, the Craig bot in, and didn't know because we use Geark in this server that it makes a sound, and oh my god, did everyone freak out.
Betty is typing.
Now recording.
Hey, isn't there a song that sounds something like Prince of Hearts? It's not exactly the right words, but isn't there a song like that? King of Hearts, Queen of Hearts.
Well,
Two of Hearts?
Queen of Hearts
Two
is a
of Hearts. Two
Right,
hearts.
that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah. Is it Two of Hearts?
Yeah.
Fucking Doug.
What? What? I'm sorry, I know music reference. What is that? Why does that warn a fucking Doug? Damn it, Doug, knowing things.
It's specifically that song.
That's the one he was thinking of.
I got like a fucking mental image of you doing like jazzercise.
Okay, I did rock my shoulders a little when I was singing it, but the fact that you assumed that I was doing Jan's Heads is hateful.
Look,
I'm putting it on right now to see how much of a gay anthem this is, so I know whether or not
I
you.
don't know for
Okay,
sure,
I'm
but
watching the
gonna
music
guess
video,
what
and yeah, okay, we can call it
It's-
"Damn It, Doug" on this
Oh,
one
you
for
never
just
watched the music
queer
video?
iconography.
It's not
Oh, yeah.
unlike Love is a Battlefield.
Yeah, I'm 7 seconds in, and I'm like, okay, all right, I see it.
But like,
That was
it's not the level of it's rating men. Like, I could have been gayer,
Right.
guys.
That was more typecasting than stereotyping.
Just saying, everyone, regardless of sexuality, enjoyed it back then.
I could have been gayer. Is that what you're putting on your tombstone?
Oh my god, that's what I'm putting on my fucking Discord.
I wish I could have been gay.
What's cooking, T-Fresca?
God, I could have been gayer is a really good statement.
As an epitaph, that's pretty.
I think I could give them at least 30% more.
Yeah.
Honestly,
At
I
any
want to
given time.
I want that tree burial thing. So if you guys can just like carve it into the tree, like 10 years later, I'd really appreciate it. Here lies Doug. He could have been gayer.
He planted himself as a tree. He still could have been gayer.
To get the true Doug spirit, we'll carve it in like very, very obnoxiously tiny font. We'll have to really get in there to see it.
Yeah. Burial is so stupid.
Yeah.
I like the tree burial.
Yeah,
You
make
grow
tree
me into a plant.
Tree burial is very good. I also like natural burials where you definitely become like nutrients for the planet. You know?
There's a group of people that would put their dead people in trees and let them be picked clean up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems fine.
There's
there's a group of people that do the natural burial thing. They're called Jews.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, like, no stone or nothing either. Just put me in the goddamn dirt.
Yeah.
The
Return to the
Zoroastrians have a
loam.
very, have a very specific method of burial that ends in their body being like. There's so many steps that lead up to this, but you end up in a tower, where vultures come and pick your bones clean. And I believe the bones are burned.
Okay.
It's a very
Mhm.
long and complicated and very fascinating process.
Yeah.
You're like left there for like 2 weeks or something. Anyway, all right. Adam, you're here. Cody's here. Doug, Monkey,
Yep.
Sean, and Ted just got back. Great. All right. You are dismissed from the throne room. Oh, hold on. I didn't want to burp into mic for y'all.
Hey, did she I know she headbutted me for damage. Did her did she burn my arm? Like, did I take acid damage from her as well?
No. In fact, it would have been fire damage, but no, she did not cause you harm in that time.
Okay, cool.
Must be nice.
She likes me. That's the thing.
Vicaris did ask.
I thought it was gonna be like an illusion in my head.
I thought it was gonna be too. I really did.
Why would you assume that of her?
Why would you
No,
think
that's my fault for
she'd be
assuming,
reasonable?
absolutely. But that's why I originally said yes.
However, yes, you're leaving the throne room, and this other Fae who stands just like barely over 5 feet tall and has this brightly colored skin and these eyes that don't focus, and vibrant hair, is kind of leaning on the wall, as in like a very silly and sort of casual pose with his elbow up and everything. And he says, "So, material planars. And what interest has the Lady Chandria taken in all of you?"
We have been of assistance before.
In what case?
It was several months ago. The creature known as the Blight Lord.
Oh, you're those ones. Interesting. I've heard the name
most part.
Vicaris said before at council.
In what context?
Mostly passing.
Fair enough. Can I insight that?
You could.
Sorry. Hey. Just to see if it's the in passing portion of it.
He has a smile that makes him feel as if he's maybe not being perfectly clear. Taunting.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like he's trying to make fun of me or make me feel bad.
He still doesn't necessarily keep focus on anyone. It's just and he says, "Is that one named Vicaris here?
That would be me.
Well, come closer, dear."
He slowly walks closer, wary.
Closer. Closer, dear. I'm blind.
Of course. He'll slink up super close, but still very wary.
He says, "I hope you don't mind if I..." And he puts his hands across your face, and very delicately touches you.
Nope, that's fine. Go ahead.
Interesting. Summer boy. Right?
More or less.
Mm-hmm. And what brought you an invitation? The killing of the Blight Lord surely couldn't have been all of it.
Well, I like to think we made a very good impression on Lady Chandria. She knows we're reliable and can trust us.
Oh, trustworthy.
Believe so.
Fascinating.
I can't speak for her.
Hmm. And, have you enjoyed your stay so far? I don't know exactly how long you may have been here.
All right, we haven't been here terribly long, but I always enjoy my time with the Fae.
Oh, you are native born, but you don't live here?
Not for the time being, but plan is to eventually come back here.
Eventually. How many
Hmm,
centuries might that take, dear?
not certain at this time. Pretty much when I've solidified my place, I will come back and take it.
Ah, solidified your place. What sort of place might you be hoping for? And his hands kind of begin to wander lower on you.
The place in the Sealy Court, higher than my current station.
Hmm. Interesting. Sealy. Ah, little boring, but forgivable. And his hands drop.
We each have our own thing that we're looking to achieve. What is it you're looking to achieve?
Oh, nothing so exciting. I have an agreement of a fashion with Chandria that I have some obligation, naturally, to attempt to fulfill, but she is so stubborn.
What are the terms of your agreement?
I have to assure that she finds some sort of love in a fashion within a shortening amount of time. And the longer she takes to take agreement with anyone I have brought before her, the more debt I acquire with her. It's become quite a tedious task, honestly. She is so sour.
Is this an agreement she asked for? She doesn't strike me as the type to be obsessed with love.
Certainly not. Absolutely not. It's just a matter of politic.
Hmm. It's more or less a business errand, is it?
That would be accurate.
Right, well. Is there something you're needing of us?
I think if I should find need of any of you, I should be around.
Changing pleasantries, I understand. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
We'll be seeing you around then.
Well, you'll be seeing me. And he winks. Bishop is still with you and asks if there is anything you might be requiring.
Is the Prince of Hearts still there? Or has he?
Yes.
Well, okay, then I will not ask Bishop something.
The preparation room we had before, is that still available?
Yes, that'll be your chambers for the duration of your stay.
How long has it been since? How long did that whole meeting take?
Well, I would say that you guys have been around for nearly an hour at this point.
Okay.
Although it's very hard to tell time, what with
Yeah.
the fact the sun does
Yeah.
not set or move from sunset, which can be seen from the windows.
Hey, do we got to do anything else, or can I get out of these fancy clothes?
I would think we should go back to the chambers. If we are to serve as bait eventually, it would make sense for those who brought their things to don armor, utilize weapons. Although, I think there is still a party portion to begin. It would make more sense to be prepared for the inevitable showdown, shall we say.
Well, they're gonna throw like a big party and then transport the whole party into where the big FOMOs is.
Yes, that is the point.
Yes.
It's pretty crazy.
Is, isn't it?
Once again, gotta be better about saying in my head. Bishop, if you would please take us back.
He nods
I'm
and
regretting
begins
this
escorting you.
spell after like one session just because of the confusion that it's causing. I regret this entire endeavor.
We just
You-
gotta work on saying in our heads better. It's
You do
fine.
have to state it's a good spell. You just gotta make
It's a
it
great
clear.
spell.
You are brought back to your chambers.
Zasha will immediately set about recasting the ritual.
Well, I thought that went pretty good.
Above board, real quick. Is this happening today, or do we have time for a long rest in between? The
That is a very
fight,
good
that is.
question. It is very hard to measure time in the Feywilds.
Are we going
So
to
we
be
did
able to
not
get a
ask.
long rest? That's fair.
I'm operating under the assumption that it is soon. So
Mm-hmm.
Ouch, in that case. I'll be putting on my new armor. Cradling my arm.
Yeah. Hey, you ever worn armor like that before?
Oh, I can't say I have. This
Yeah.
is really the first time ever.
All right, come on. Hey, I'll show you how to get it in and out so that way it'll go quicker next time you do it.
What's that then?
I'm gonna show you how to put on your armor so you know how to fucking do it.
Ah, right, phrasing. That's all I need.
I guess once the ritual for telepathic bond is recast, Zashel will pull on the Arcanist gloves and... Hold on, Karis. Let me deal with that. I sort of assumed our host would take care of it, but I suppose without directly asking, there is no reason to do that other than... That is 23 healing.
Nice.
There is no reason to take care of it other than to attempt ingratiation.
Thank you, Zashel. I mean, I did ask for it, so I understand why she didn't take care of it.
Regardless. Anyway, the bond is recast. That will last for another hour. We should make sure, especially in the presence of some of the other FEY, especially the... Well, I don't really know if they're nobility. I don't know the politics here, but we should make sure to utilize that bond as much as possible. Some of the things that we have been told, we have been sworn to secrecy on, and it remains to be seen whether that was, well, just now a violation of that, which would definitely be detrimental to our efforts. So we should be careful to police ourselves a little more.
Okay, what part can we not talk about?
Just don't talk about any of it, just to be safe.
Okay. Mum's
Nothing
the
about
word.
the plan, nothing about the fight, nothing about the Fomorians, nothing about Fleos. It's better if we just pretend that this is... Not pretend. We act as though that this is only the social aspect
until we have been cleared to speak to others about the coming conflict.
Yep, loose link sink ships, got it.
Hey, you think that Rainbow Man was really blind? Or you think he was like fucking with you, of course?
No, I believe he was blind.
Bishop kind of pushes his glasses up his nose. Yes, the Prince of Hearts cannot see.
Oh, Bishop, what else can you tell us about the Prince of Hearts?
Prince of Hearts is a master of the Gloaming Court, the divider and prophet of love, as it is known within the Fey Wilds, and stands as a champion of passion. An annoyance in many facets of the courts, but a necessary one. He and the Knights of Love are soldiers that often are of spurned lovers or champions of adventures of the heart.
The Knights of Love.
Yes.
I'm unsure why you find that funny, Relic, but
I don't know why he finds it funny either. Is this a... Are you familiar with them?
No, it just sounds funny to me.
There was a wonderful doo-wop group in Baldur's Gate that called themselves the Knights of Love.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Noel, what was your source for those court etiquette rules?
It was a combination of Baccharis and other reading, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A combination of Baccharis and other reading.
Is there some clarification I could provide to you?
No, thank you, Bishop. I'm pondering circumstance. And in the telepathic bond, Vicaris, what do you make of Chandria using thank you multiple times? Am I overstating the importance of such an event, or?
I don't know for sure. I don't know if I can really go to someone like her. But if I were to wager a guess, an act of goodwill? Perhaps an outreach of faith? One never knows for sure with them.
I suppose we will find out.
Indeed.
Sarah, I have a slightly odd question.
Mm-hmm.
When I was close to Chandria, did she? God, this is gonna sound strange, but I'm thinking of it from like an animalistic point of view. Did she
Mm-hmm.
smell different? Was there something about her that was different?
Roll me a perception check.
Yeah. Could this be an insight check?
I'd allow it.
Okay, I have advantage on insight checks.
All right. That's fine. I assumed, actually, you would be better at perception, which is why I offered that one.
I am.
Okay, all right.
It's a 17, though.
She would have smelled different, but that is in a very specific manner. like trying to
Because
say it without sounding graphic.
yeah. Well, it was like she did acid stuff, and I don't remember all that. That's all like real new to me anyway. So
She is. This is I think this is something that could be available within the information you guys have accumulated as well. She is a master of evocation magic as like raw elemental power. But mastery is fallible. The acid burn is one thing. She touched you with fire. She herself would have she smelled like sweat and like battle and blood. Like she is different explicitly because the time is different. But as far as what you would intuit as a difference that should be concerning, you find there to be none.
okay, good health. I don't notice any rot in the sense.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I thought she was like cursed by Fomorians or something.
All right. You guys just hang out here, or do you want to do other
No,
things?
Gonna say the rest of the grounds are open to us. We should consider taking advantage of that.
Yeah, let's mill around. Yeah. Grab our gear, mill around.
Just
Yop is going to stay here and try and get a long rest in, and if that's possible, great. And if not, and someone comes by, she will wake up and go wherever she's supposed to go.
Okay, very well.
Zeshel will stay for like the first hour or so, trying to just get a short rest for the groups.
Who all is interested in wandering?
I want to wander.
Or guide, or being toured around.
I want to wander, but I think a long rest would be better for me.
I think I'd be interested in wandering.
Yeah, I'm wandering. I'm in fine health and spirits.
Same.
Yeah, I'll wander. Fuck it.
Noel wants to see.
Okay. Then first you are given again a bit of a more proper tour of the palace, the war rooms that exist, the council chambers, where there are very noticeably very old Eladrin individuals sitting and speaking with one another. You recognize that they are of not only incredible age, but also incredible skill and intellect. One of the noted traits amongst Eladrin in general, and noticeable very distinctly on Vicaris, are the patterns of scar tattoos that usually begin at the chest and depending on the field of expertise, cover different parts of their body. Arcanists are usually marked at the brow and face and neck, and warriors down their arms and legs. And that is very noticeable, as many of the soldiers wear bare arms and have and tattoos that reach down to their fingertips. The eldest of them and the eldest arcanists are marked as if they are almost wearing crowns. And along this tour, there is palisades that you are shown that stretch over that have a view of the entirety of the city, which looks very bright and warm in the twilight of the sky that does not move. The city itself, you can see, is dense with soldiers. It is the gleaming armor is impossible to not see. Many of them glow in autumnal visage, and several of them have begun to dim to winter as the seasons have begun to change. There is some cloud cover, where there is some snow that is beginning to fall, but it does not appear to actually be reaching the ground. It sort of melts or vanishes before it can. There is on the western side of the city a reach of deep, dark mountains, and the farther they stretch, the darker their skies appear. And there is the uproarious sound of combat, distant but certain, coming from that direction. The mountains are gray and craggy and pocketed with caverns, and there is a visible front line of soldiers, again, bright, seely creatures, in combat with these gigantic, hulking, twisted monsters. And closer than that line that can be seen from this palisade is a shimmering field that twinkles and fractures ever so slightly every once in a while. And it is very easy to see that there is giants beyond this field that are in attack against it from great distances on the mountains, hurling stones with trebuchets. And there is there's heavy thuds like thunder as stones make impact with it, and every once in a while manage to fracture it, and a stone crashes into the citadel itself or the walls, at which point soldiers are immediately ushered to go and save and relieve anyone who happens to have been in harm's way. Although that is so rare that it is almost paced out, and can be assured by Bishop that it is perhaps only a few times a day that this manages to happen. This barrier is very powerful, but is only fortified by secret means that must be certainly maintained. He assures everyone that, again, within the palace you are safe. The city itself you have complete access to if you would like. Any mundane or magical equipment within a very specific parameter you have complete access to. And traders within the city still do trade in gold. As you are wandering, there is this little figure who is kind of marching and shuffling along in the palace, not necessarily alongside you, but you see him a few different times. He's maybe about 3 feet tall, with a choppy white beard, and a red hat, and filthy trousers, and a metal sickle that kind of catches against the ground and sparks as he walks, and he's grumbling and mumbling to himself. And as you were on the palisade, kind of observing the front line and considering the options, he just he kind of climbs up to watch nearby, maybe 20 feet or 15 feet away, and is just mumbling and harumphing to himself, very crankily.
Krellick will look to Noel, and it's Noel, Lauren, and Vicaris came.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Is that correct? I think
Yeah.
that's correct.
I think Lucky would be there too.
I'll look to them and say,
Fuck, this is, they's not getting a long rest, is they?
More likely not.
No.
I'll look over to the dude that just walked up and say,
Hey, how long has this been going on?
What do you mean? This war, or? This battle.
I guess both.
War is older than Chandria. This battle. A month?
Wait, you mean they's just been out there for like a whole month?
Uh-huh. Rotation or something. He spits off the side of the palisade.
Does this dude look like he handles himself, or is he like just some dude?
What does that mean?
Like, does he look like a warrior, or does he look like a dude?
Why don't you roll an insight check?
Okay. Hey, I have advantage.
Hey, advantage.
It's a 17.
Huh. He has a couple of scars across him.
You been out there, ain't it?
Yeah, once or twice.
How hard do them things hit?
You ever been run over by a cart 8 times?
No.
Well, then it's nothing like that. He spits again.
Is it worse than that?
Can be.
Have you been run over by a car 8 times?
Once. Maybe twice.
No, I was actually referring to him.
Killjoy. He sticks out his hand.
Like to shake? I'm not gonna shake it.
You do shake it?
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. He shakes your hand, Krellick.
Okay, yeah.
Krellick.
What's got you guys here?
Oh, his name's Killjoy? I thought he was calling me a Killjoy.
No, he was introducing himself.
That's
With a handshake and everything.
And I was like, rude? What a dick. Whoops. Misread that. All right, moving on.
That's fine.
Oh, we just visited.
Yeah. Most of us are. If you're smart, you're visiting anyway. These poor suckers. And he looks over at a bishop who live here.
Yeah, where's you from?
He looks out towards the horizon at a point beyond the mountains, but more towards the sun, about northwards, points in that general direction.
Oh, okay.
There's a rock I like out there.
Yeah, I know what that's like. You know, if you find a good one.
Yeah. Are you here for the dinner thing?
Yes.
He takes off his hat, revealing a wrinkled, bald head, and reaches inside. You hear the clatter of metal against metal, and he produces a very small and half crooked and bent shrimp fork, and lifts it up to you and says, "Would you mind trying to replace this for me?"
In exchange for what?
He looks around in his bag again and pulls out a spoon that looks like it has had a bite taken out of it.
You just want a new one?
Yeah.
So I'll get the spoon. Yeah, I'll find you a new one.
Deal. You're not going to let me take any. So he
Right.
puts his
What?
cap back on his head.
Why not?
Because they know I like them.
Yeah, but it's like cutlery.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, who gives a shit?
He scowls at you. I give a shit.
Oh, no, you... I mean, yeah, obviously you do. I mean, like, what do they, you know?
Oh, because I'm unseelie. And he shakes his head.
Looking around, is there a place that would sell that in the immediate area?
Sell a new fork?
Yeah.
You could go into the city and possibly purchase a new fork.
Perfect. I'll do that. When everyone's ready, obviously.
Wait, is it a fork? I thought it was a spoon.
He's going to
No,
give
he's
a
offering
spoon.
me the spoon,
For
and
a
it's got a
fork.
bite
Okay,
out of
I
it,
gotta.
which means it's perfect, and I love it.
Okay, but I'm confused about needing the fork now.
He likes
Noel is
utensils.
very good, silently and just solemnly looking back and forth between Vicaris and
Oh
this
my god.
little person.
It would be
Just-
fucked up if I just Song of Creation him a fork, and then it disappeared in an hour.
You could do that.
I could. I'm not going to. So fucked up.
That would be pretty brutal.
You want to go find a fork?
Yeah.
Well,
I
look,
just want to make sure
Killjoy,
I'm like, if anybody wanted to do anything else. But my new mission is to find this dude a fork.
Killjoy, it's been great. I think we're gonna go fuck around a little bit here.
Oh, where are you going?
Oh no, we're just gonna seeing where the wind takes us.
Where can we find you when I get this fork?
He spits off the palisade again. I'll be at dinner at table 2.
Dinner table too? Got it.
He drops off of the side of the palisade towards the castle, and shoves his hands into his pockets with his shoulders hunched, and storms walks away.
I liked it. We should get that fork for him.
We should definitely find a fork.
Yeah, we need to.
Bishop, where's the best place we can find a fork?
A deal, yes.
Sorry, what'd you say, no?
Considering you have agreed to a deal, yes,
Well,
we should.
It's a
find
very
a
nice.
fork.
It's a very nice spoon.
Are we still in the headspace? Like, do we have the access to that right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Any distance, as long as you're on the same plane, it lasts for an hour.
I speak to
It literally
Vicaris.
will last you the length of my short rest.
Hell yeah. I'll say to Vicaris, well, I'll say to everyone, so all of us can hear it. I'll say,
why don't we get him one from dinner, like one of the nice ones?
Oh, I don't like to take something from the courts. I think we can just. I have plenty of money. I can buy him a
Okay.
fork.
I was thinking maybe he'd like it better.
He might, but then he'd also have the same opportunity to take it that we do.
Should not steal from
Isn't
the
that
courts.
explicitly what he
See?
asked?
This
I'm not-
seems self-evident.
Oh, I agree.
This is, broadly speaking, a bad idea.
Get him a
And
fork.
agreeing to get the fork in the first place.
Well,
But did you see the spoon?
yeah, I mean, come on. Hey, it's just Kilroy.
Our good buddy Killjoy. What could go wrong?
The reason I did not try to encourage you not to do it is because, based off of reports, the more I tried to tell you not to do this thing, the more likely it would be for you to do it.
Well,
oppositional defiance.
well, I'm glad we can agree. Let's go find a fork.
As we go to find the fork, I want to say to the cars, I'm just gonna say it out loud. I'll say,
Well, how's this? You try your way, and then I'll try mine, and we'll see which one Killjoy likes better.
Noel, do you want to step in here?
You must not steal from the court. I cannot be more emphatic. I am not telling you a suggestion. I am telling you that if you do this thing, you will be forfeit.
It's not like you opening the door in the lighthouse and setting that thing free.
This will be a process we cannot do anything about. You will be forfeit.
Okay, so I need to get the fork, but without stealing it.
If you take the fork, you will be forfeit.
I guess you can ask whoever owns the fork.
Be more clear.
We'll see.
There is no seeing. I am stating for you a fact.
Bishop.
No, I'll bet you 50 gold that I can get a fork without stealing it.
I refuse. This is a fact I am stating, Krellick.
Krellick, do you have 50 gold?
Krellick the Red.
Yes.
Your name is Krellick the Red. If you steal this fork, your life will be forfeit.
No, I'm not talking about stealing it. I'm saying I bet you 50 gold that I can get a fork, the dinner fork, without stealing it.
Bishop looks at you, Vicaris.
Where's a place we can find a nice fork? Not top shelf, obviously, but, somewhere mid-grade.
Per your agreement, I believe you have to find one within Chandria's kitchens.
Oh, no.
I will not be engaging in this bet. This is your problem.
What a saver, Corvus. 50
I-
gold.
I believe I have to go to Chandrius. Why would I bet against me? Talk to Lorne.
For posterity, do you have arrangements in place?
Who are you talking to? Me or him?
Yes.
Cody, could you take some inspiration, please?
As I said previously, your lives will be forfeit.
I'm not stealing anything.
I do not believe you.
First of all, they never lie. I'm not lying. Second of all, I am looking to, if they're not willing to willingly give it one up, then I'm willing to compensate them monetarily.
It's a good idea. That's what I was going to do. Fuck, okay. I'm not paying you 50 gold, though, okay?
Oh, I don't believe anyone took that bet.
Have to pay anyone 50 gold. How would you like your belongings distributed? It may be cannot.
Is he asking for an advance directive?
He's asking for your will.
Yeah.
If I die, give all my stuff to you.
If I die, give all my stuff to Krellick.
So, yeah.
I don't want to see it happen, but I will hold you to it.
Well, if we both die, then yeah, I could see our stuff going to y'all.
You die, and I cannot retrieve your corpse.
Well, I mean, I
Although,
guess
if
my
I die
fuck
on
then,
this
right?
plane, I do have a family here. You should probably give it to them. Anyways, to Chandria's kitchen then.
Oh, do we want to see what else is out here, or do we want to go back into the castle?
What does everyone want to do?
I'm interested in going to the kitchen to see how you work.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, we have found our journey.
Noel,
Vicaris, get this fork.
Noel straightens up, and for the first time, there's a facial expression of just Noel closing his eyes and breathing in through his nose. Like his face has been completely flaccid until now. There's just a beat of.
Bishop is smiling at you and just a reassuring and pitying smile.
I will accompany you for posterity.
I wonder if Zachel can feel Noel's disdain right now. do emotions get transmitted telepathically? Or is it just words?
Bishop will take you to the kitchens, a room below, in one of the underlayers of the castle, but warn you beforehand that it might be ill-advised, considering the nature of the event on the horizon, that maybe it is wise to not enter.
The kitchen?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You're going to be attending a dinner party.
Sure. I didn't realize it was a bride in a wedding dress scenario.
That's more of a
We're busy.
busy and people with knives.
Have they already set places for people? Is there a dining room that is already ready, just without the food?
You could be taken to the dining room if you'd like to see it.
Yeah. Are there
Okay.
people setting up currently?
In a fashion.
Show me that cutlery.
Like our element side quest all over again.
Hold on, let me see if... Yeah, I'll drop this map.
Ooh.
Bishop takes you to an enormous chamber. That the outer ring of it is lined with certain tables. There is a beautiful dance floor at its center, which is a lowered section of the room that is surrounded by mirrors that people every once in a while, creatures seem to be passing through. There is the high table that is indicated to you on the far side over here. And then tables that surround. There are many creatures here as well, people that appear to be guests of honor, and many servants who are draped in the finery of Astrazalian. There are, in fact, owl bears. There is one owl bear that has very long bat-like wings and antlers. There is a creature here who takes on relatively human form, but with very long, spindly arms, and appears to have many arms and a face split for many eyes. There are a couple of centaurs here. Killjoy is milling around as well. And there's also...
I give him a wave.
He clearly like harumphs in your direction. There's many Eladrin speaking with one another, and clearly of high station. Many who take on very distinct appearances, very separate from the servants, and many who are draped in varying colors as well. You see that there are folks who are in all green and molted colors of the Wild Hunt. There are some of the Knights of Love here. Prince of Hearts is here as well, speaking to an individual who looks like he might be a spring eladrin, but takes on a very aquan appearance with crystal blue skin. Let's see. There are dryads abound. There is someone you would actually recognize, a satyr who speaks at once with many other satyrs, but kind of is mingling in general. A hooded figure in bright robes. Your boss, Krellick Grox, is here.
I lumber towards him, arms outraised to the side. Grox!
They meet you in a hug.
What is you doing here?
Invited. What are you doing here?
Invited.
Really? Fascinating. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Things has been going okay at the franchise.
That does not sound very affirmative.
Well, it's not great, but it's not the worst.
Sorry, I had to sneeze. I might have another one. Okay.
Oh, Grox, bless you.
That is somewhat troubling. I hope for your sake and for the other members of your franchise that things turn positive.
Yeah, they will. As soon as we kill Hamia, they will.
Ah, yes, this. That has gotten around many offices.
Oh, you'd better.
It is not the first time that members of Acquisitions Incorporated have had such squabbles with one another, but it is certainly one of the most publicized events.
We'll see over under on me winning.
I'm not much of a gambler, but there are many who understand that the power of Hymir's scythe is enough to cut a man down in a single strike.
Well, it's a good thing we's 8 men.
Ah. He grins and pushes his fist like gently against your arm.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I'll see you at this dinner thing, yeah?
Yes, do you know where you will be placed?
No idea.
Bishop speaks up and says, "They are guests of honor." And Grox looks back to you and smiles and says, "You'll be sitting with me."
Hell yeah.
All right, yeah.
I'm going
Continue.
to turn to Bishop and say, all right, so who would be the best person who could give me a fork? Who's in charge of setting up?
He peers over the side of the wall to look down on the assembled servants milling about, and points to a dryad.
That one over there?
He nods.
All right. And then he's going to slap him on the back.
No.
Appreciate you. And then he will walk over to this dryad.
He adjusts his glasses and clears his throat in the confusion. And yeah, you can go and talk to this dryad.
Good evening. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. Most of the ones here take on a very, what's the word? What's the tree? I cannot remember off the top of my head. I want to say aspen appearance, but they look like they walk through the trees of the Feydark and the border that they all live on. You've met a few before while here last.
Hello there. I hear you are someone to talk to of great import.
That is high praise.
I believe it's well deserved, don't you?
Perhaps, though creature as yourself from Senelise might be not exactly the one to identify such. She looks down at your robes.
Well, I am fairly well traveled, so I think you'd be surprised to see how open-minded I am.
Is there something that I can do for you?
Actually, there is. I'm so glad you asked. I am looking very simple. I just need a fork. Would you be able to
Fork?
get me one?
What purpose have you of a fork?
Well, it is uh, a little confidential, but I can tell you that it is a gift for somebody else.
I would like you to roll me a deception check.
Sure. And, oh, 25.
Oh. There's a little bit of scrutiny, but well enough. She says, provided that there should be utensils given at the meal. And she considers, and then she says, very well. And she will walk through one of the mirrors and return with fork for you.
My lady, this has been so gracious of you. The place looks great. Everything's wonderful. You should keep up with all this. Well done. And
What was your
with
name?
that- Me? Oh, Vikar Jarlushint.
Good to
And
meet
he will
you.
extend a hand, like bow a little and extend a hand.
She'll take it and she'll shake your hand.
It was lovely meeting you. I don't believe I caught your name, did I?
I am called the Maiden of the Harvest.
Well, Maiden of the Harvest. Well, I hope to see you soon. And as he walks away, he'll kind of like hold up the fork and salute with it, and head back to Noel. Lift it up and go, "Say, not a problem."
I am frankly impressed.
Right? Sometimes my plans work. And he'll tap him on the shoulder.
My man.
Relic, is this satisfactory?
Well, oh, of course. I mean, I had faith that of course we'll get it done.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait to give it to him until later in the during the dinner.
Okay.
You all think it's weird it is like gonna be this fancy dinner and like a dance party when there's rocks falling from the sky.
Can't let a little war get in the way of celebration.
Point of order. This is not necessarily a celebration, but a contractual obligation.
Yeah, well, he said.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, but
Doesn't-
it's like what's with all the lights?
Just because it's a contractual obligation doesn't mean it doesn't have to be fun.
Are we to return to the rest now?
Oh, I've got nothing else to do.
We should probably tell them what is going on. You know, we should show them what's outside if they like want to go.
Yes. No, I glance at Bishop.
His brow creases in worry. Most creatures are aware of the assault on the city.
Well, my friends that want to take a nap, I don't think they've seen it.
We can show them.
Yeah,
I can show them.
Is what I mean.
There is a marked difference between being aware of and seeing the full magnitude of.
Would you like me to do this for you? To show them?
You ain't gonna like burn their home like Sandria did.
We will require more specificity.
I am your retainer for the evening. I can go and fetch them, do as you've asked, and return them if they so wish.
Well, in that case, I'm gonna find myself a drink.
Would you like me to find you a drink first?
Can you find me 2 drinks?
Yes.
I
He
get 3.
walks past you and vanishes in your periphery and is gone for a moment before he returns on your other side, just walking into the corner of your eye with several beverages set on a tray.
I take 2. I look at Vicaris.
I'll take 1.
There is.
Cheers.
There would appear to be one. There is one that is a bright blue that sparkles. There is one that is crystal clear and runs like water, though feels more viscous. And then there is something that is bright green.
Oh, I choose green.
I'll take the viscous one and the blue one.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bishop, we have been taking on faith that you are the emissary of hospitality here. Do you have
That
a
is correct.
verbal or written contract?
Verbal.
May we hear it, please?
To provide information as accommodating as possible and assist you in feeling comfortable and welcome.
Should we also presume that anything said in your presence will be relayed to your master?
That would be a safe assumption.
Efficiency, yes.
Yes. It is very clear the minute the 2 beverages touch your tongue at the same time, Krellick, that they should not have mixed because they were both very. One was very sweet and very pleasant. The other one felt very hot very suddenly, and when they meet in your stomach, it immediately sours.
Little gurgle.
Oh.
What does
Krellick
mine taste like?
Well, more specifically, Krellick, a request from me for this evening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Noel will point to Bishop and look at try to make eye contact with you, Krellick. If you require a drink tonight from anyone, you will only ask him.
Obviously. I mean, he got me drinks like that.
No. Clarity here. You will not accept drinks from anyone else. Him.
I'm going to lean into Krellick and say, should I ask him to put it in writing?
Can you
I can
put
do
that in
this.
writing?
Would it help?
Would what help?
Giving it to you in writing.
Yes. For that is what I require.
Noel reaches into his bag and pulls out essentially a contract. You will
Vicar's
not read
drinking.
this, but will you sign it?
I look at Noel and I look down the paper, and I read it. I read it in front of him, however long it takes.
Yeah.
Vicar's
When you
is
start
drinking,
reading it,
smiling.
Noel does not rush you at all. Noel is just looking at you expectantly with a pleased expression on his face.
Vicar's is happy with all the time he's just wasted forcing him
All
to
it
write
literally
it
says is
down.
a very basic contract saying that you will agree to accept beverages only from our representative of hospitality here. As the idea of taking beverages from literally anybody else here could be seen as a gift and could therefore, and this is underlined several times, result in forfeiture of life. And then
does,
there's like a beat, and then it says "or freedom," and then that's underlined even more than life.
Does Noel have? Do you have something to sign with? Are you at the ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I sign it. The magnificent Draco Mage Krellick the Red.
Yeah. Noel unironically is very pleased with this. Just the fact that he signed it and read it. Like, Noel takes it and like breaks out into a very wide smile and is like, "This is excellent. Thank you."
Is it just me, or is he obsessed with virtual life?
I look at Bishop and say,
2 more, please.
He nods, steps out of your field of vision, and then returns on the other side with 2 different colored beverages.
This is great.
Would you like me to go and find your compatriots now?
Yes, please.
He nods and he vanishes. Then, not a moment later, is outside the chamber door to your guys' rooms and knocks.
I'm muted. How long has it been?
About
Days.
an hour.
I'm basically just asking if I
Probably
have
actually
All I needed.
probably close to 2 hours since they did like a tour.
I would have gotten up after the first hour. I was just doing a short rest.
That's fine.
Hemoglobin.
I guess I'm still there. Yes.
Bishop opens the door and says, "I have been asked to escort you and Yop towards the palisade to observe the front line by the others of your party."
Why?
I believe one of them understands that it might provide some form of context.
I don't know what more context is needed. There is a war. We are here to assist in ending that. At least ending the threat posed by this Philos. No, that's not the right name. Fleos.
Yes. Yeah. Your cuff will say his name in Chandria's voice. I agree. If this is not something that you require, you may dismiss me.
No, I will go with you to at least the others. I will assume Yop will be here safely. She can contact me when she awakens.
He nods and will take you back through the palace towards this to this great chamber.
As we are walking, what is your take on this situation, Bishop? I am curious. You are more familiar with the politics of this place than I am, or anyone in my franchise is. I understand that this celebration is a cultural necessity?
Formality, yes.
Despite the war, the Lady Chandria is required. Indebted? No, that's not the word.
Required is apt. Though I do not understand what you mean by my take. What is it that you wish to understand?
The guests that have been invited, those that will show, we've met one so far, this Prince of Hearts fellow. I know nothing of him myself. Given the You are aware of the plan. You were there when the Lady Chandria described it to us. I am curious what you think the well, frankly, the chance of success is, given you are more familiar than I with the individuals who we have not seen yet. You know the ones who are somewhat expected to stay. What is your view on the plan?
This is a tactical move that Chandria has been contemplating for decades. It
Has
is
this giant
difficult.
been around? I thought he was a new problem.
New as a threat, though this particular tactic is something, again, she has been considering for some time. It has just not exactly ever been in the best interest or properly orchestrated in a fashion satisfactory to her. Or the opportunity, more appropriately, has not come to implement this plan. Many of these guests I know should not take interest in such participation. The Prince of Hearts, as you said, very likely may find his means of exit prior to the breaking of the wall, as it were. But there are others that I anticipate might be forced either by debt or interest or personal investment to remain. Unfortunately, the one that I fear Chandria worries the most might be in disinterest, is the one most key to the plan's success. Oberon.
Interesting. The Lord of the Hunt, I believe?
That is
Master of the
correct.
Hunt.
Yes.
Were provided a primer of a sort.
Valuable.
Forgive my bluntness on this question. How poorly is this war going? This battle? As you said, it seems like this has been a plan long in the works. And as you said, there are many who will be invited but not go along with the plan, and even the one who seems like they would be a linchpin is questionable at best. I imagine things must be going not well if the Lady Chandria felt now was the best time to enact this. This will not sway our decision to stay and help. The contract is signed, and even, I think, without it, this place is still home to one of our franchise members. Not to mention the restitution being made to us is of particular interest as of late. I just want to I prefer to get a better lay of the land.
His gaze turns up towards the ceiling as he walks. You can see that he has adjusted his stride to keep pace with creatures significantly shorter than him. And he says, rather thoughtfully, "The wilds are a place of ultimate chaos, but more importantly, balance. After great folly is great success, and one chases the other indefinitely. Astrazalian spends half of its life in another place at peace and in rebirth and regrowth, and another in decay and war and pain. Likewise, this war turns constantly, one favor after the other, one advancement, one retreat. It is a cycle that will never end. However, Chandria is a good leader and has been for centuries. Though she may be doomed to never fear or feel victory, she should never fear defeat.
Interesting. I've never had doubts since I met her the first time of her leadership ability, so I
Nor
hope
should you.
that was not. I hope that was not implied by my question.
He smiles. Have you further questions?
Not at the moment. Thank you.
All right. And he takes you to the ballroom and dining hall, where everyone else is, besides Yop.
Cecil, did you see those joints out there hucking big old fuck off stones?
I did not know. I didn't feel the need to go to the Palisades. We were told there was a war. I assume it was imposing, but this castle has withstood since the dawn of this war, so I imagine it will do so longer.
Bishop smiles.
Oh, I suit yourself, but it was impressive. Also, it seems like, we thought, maybe we thought there was like going to be a few days or something. We didn't know exactly how long all this would be, and I mean, it don't look good out there.
It's hard to say, given we only have the view from this castle. We don't know what other forces are afar in the field. We don't know. Well, we don't know much overall. Chandria did say this is the first time that the Fomorians have had a leader to rally them, and I imagine that that is putting extra weight on the defenders here. But that's theoretically where we will eventually come in.
Bishop, can you get Cecil a drink? Because, I don't know, man. I mean, what even impresses you?
Many things.
Would you like a drink?
No, thank you, Bishop.
I will take another, thank you.
He nods and performs his little trick again.
Well, I suppose we have plenty of time to mingle and enjoy ourselves until dinner or Chandria occurs first. Yop is still resting in our chamber. I have been assured that she will be safe there. She does have Betty with her. and she has the ring of sound to contact us when she has awoken.
Bishop looks outside briefly to a window and says, "Would appear that the wild hunt are arriving shortly, and after a period of rest to be determined, I should fetch you all for dinner."
I have rested as much as I need to at the moment, so if we still have leave to explore the castle and mingle with guests, that is what I will do.
Naturally. Again, my name, and I shall be there to assist you. And we'll pick up there next week.